Hello, witches. Welcome to the Light of Day podcast. The world is rife with misinformation, including in witch and pagan circles. Some of it's relatively harmless, some of it is damaging, both physically and mentally. But why should you care? All knowledge is worth having, after all, but it's not always easy to figure out what's true, what's misleading, or even what's unintentionally inaccurate. Maybe, like me, you agree that we should all be practicing our craft from an informed perspective. That's where the Light of Day comes in. You may already be following my Substack newsletter by the same name, where I talk about fact-checking, debunking misinformation, and honing media literacy and critical thinking skills for witches and pagans. But maybe you're too busy to read a newsletter, or you're on the road a lot and prefer to listen to your news and entertainment. Maybe you just absorb information better when you hear it. For many of us who have been longtime listeners of public radio, you also know the intimacy of hearing real people speak, of hearing someone talking directly to you. The first episode drops next month, August of 2025, but I wanted to give you a preview of what to expect. I want to make it very clear that in the course of sharing resources to help you better vet information within modern witchcraft and paganism, that I'm not fact-checking things like deities, unverified personal gnosis, and a zillion other magical things people believe in or do spiritually or culturally. Much of that can't be quantified, scientifically replicated, or fact-checked because they aren't any of those things, and that doesn't necessarily make them less real. I happen to be a soft atheist and secular witch, and I do believe in many things that I can't prove or disprove. I don't personally work with deities. That is not me saying your beliefs are woo, insignificant, not real, or not important. I will never shame your path or tell you your spiritual beliefs aren't real. What I am focusing on is things that can be fact-checked or verified. Topics like historical misinformation, damaging medical advice from non-medical folks, misconceptions about specific paths, traditions, and cultures, developing media literacy, both in and out of witchcraft, and sharing scientific research that could be incorporated into how you practice. What you do with that information is up to you. And why should you listen to me? I'm Daylina Miller, a longtime witchy journalist who has been professionally published for more than 20 years in print and digital newspapers and broadcast on public radio. I'll be approaching this podcast through that lens. As a witch, I practice from the SAS perspective, which stands for secular, atheist agnostic, skeptical, and science-seeking. I grew up in a borderline fundamentalist Christian church and even taught Sunday school for a few years. But my curiosity and questions about the world and our doctrine weren't welcome there. And after exploring Wicca and many other ways of approaching the craft, I became a skeptical, solitary, and secular witch. I am non-binary and queer, and a lot of what I have to say is filtered through that lived perspective. I am white and mostly cishet passing, which also informs my life experience and gives me privileges many trans and non-binary folks do not have. I try to use that privilege to amplify the voices of the most marginalized folks in my community and to speak out and educate others in spaces where I feel safe and others may not. I look forward to exploring critical thinking with you and with the many guests I have lined up to contribute their perspectives. If you have any questions, comments, or episode pitches, you can share those via email or voice note to thewitchyjournalist@gmail.com. So stay tuned, stay witchy, and practice with healthy skepticism. See you in August.